The student loan crisis, $1.5 trillion and counting. I'm Adrienne Pedersen, today on Upfront. A first-of-its-kind program in Wisconsin offering an alternative to traditional student loans. We'll look at income share agreements and see how they can help students and the broader economy. Plus, Republican lawmakers send Governor Evers their plan for state spending, what insiders think he'll do with it, and why a group of influential UW-Madison backers says it's time for the tuition freeze to thaw.
Taking on the issues important to Wisconsin. This is Upfront with your host, Adrienne Pedersen.
Thank you for joining us today. I'm Adrienne Pedersen, and this is Upfront. Will he or won't he? Will Democratic Governor Evers sign or veto the state spending plan Republicans have sent him? Or is there another option? I'll ask our state capitol correspondent later in the program. But we begin today with a new idea to address the student loan crisis. And it is a crisis. In 2019, student loan debt has reached a peak. More than 44 million borrowers owe $1.5 trillion. It's the second highest consumer debt category. Matt Smith reports on an experiment in Wisconsin that some say could change the way students pay for higher education.
We check to see if value modulus 2 is not equal to 0.
In Milwaukee's historic 3rd Ward, an inside look at an intense 12-week coding boot camp, helping meet the demands of students and an ever-changing tech industry.
I don't care if you're in insurance or manufacturing or retail or marketing, you're a tech company.
DevCode Camp isn't traditional in any aspect of its education, including how students pay.
And it builds up on the call stack like you wouldn't believe.
Earlier this month, DevCode Camp welcomed its first group of students, like Eric Melke, who won't pay a penny of tuition until he has a job making at least $40,000 a year.
I can kind of jump into this right away and I don't have to worry about saving up money just because I'm betting on myself, but the program also is betting on their self to make sure that when we do get out, we're landing awesome jobs.
The concept is called an income share agreement. At DevCode Camp, once students have a job, they'll pay 15% of their salary for 3 years, or until $30,000 is paid off.
Is there a risk for you guys up front?
There's a risk that we basically put all this time, energy, money into somebody who doesn't want to be here.
The option is more expensive than paying up front or potentially a student loan, but there's no interest.
They didn't have a means to be able to go and do it. And we said, okay, we'll invest in you. Over the long term, it'll be more than our standard tuition, but it's an insurance policy for you, and it's an opportunity for you.
DevCode Camp is the first in Wisconsin to offer an income share agreement, but they aren't alone. Purdue University in Indiana is offering the program as well, where more than 500 students are participating.
I do think that this is something that can send a signal.
Yes.
At Purdue, upon graduation and getting a job, students will pay a percentage of their salary back to the university. The amount and percent is based on their career and anticipated salary.
They're interested in this idea of their own human capital and investing in their future. Certainly there are students who don't have other options available, either a parent who can take out this Parent Plus loan or co-sign on a loan, but we find that it really has broad appeal.
The question is how broad, as both major universities and Congress are now closely watching.
It's getting some more attention. People are starting to understand it. The natural thing to do is look at this and go, well, wait a minute, what am I missing? And there's nothing to miss.
This is a really interesting concept. There are critics, though. Some people don't like this idea.
Yeah, so as many supporters as there are critics as well who are concerned that this doesn't really chip away at the debt crisis whatsoever. When you look at the amount, it's really not cheaper than taking out a loan. You're paying it back differently. It may be smaller payments, but when you look at the big overall issue, they say this doesn't address it.
Congress is getting involved.
Yeah, so Congress has tried several times to regulate this. It hasn't worked yet, and shockingly, this is getting political. Right? The Trump administration, the Department of Education, is really interested in this model and wants to research it more. To that, Democrats are coming out, some of them blasting it, including Elizabeth Warren, who is running for president. She just sent a letter this past month to the Education Department saying this is deceptive practices and deceptive marketing. So as much interest and conversation as this has started, it's starting politically to heat up as well.
And do I have to qualify for financial aid in order to do this?
Yeah, no, you don't. And if you look at the Purdue example, for example, example, what happens is a foundation is actually paying the university the amount that the income share agreement is worth. So then the student, in theory, is going to pay back to the foundation. So there's a lot of businesses or entities backing that initial payment.
What about schools around here? Are they considering it?
Yeah, it's a good question. So we reached out. Marquette says no. At this point, they're not going to. But we talked with the UW system this past week, and they said, yeah, you know what? This is on our radar. We want to see how this works in other places, and we want to see how the business community in Wisconsin will respond to something like this.
Something to think about.
Yeah.
Thank you, Matt.
Yep.
Not only could income share agreements offer an alternative to traditional student loans, they could also help connect employees with fast-growing sectors of the state's economy. We're talking more about this now with Matt Cordio. He is the founder and president of Startup Milwaukee and the co-founder and president of the Skills Pipeline. Matt, thanks for being here.
Great to be here.
So something you do with the Skills Pipeline is you connect people to tech jobs. And tech is becoming really important in Wisconsin. How do you think a program like this, an alternative to these student loans, could help tech in Wisconsin?
So there's a massive shortage of tech talent here in Wisconsin, and we need to really work and take every kind of available opportunity to build and develop new tech talent here in Wisconsin. And income share agreements like the ones Dev Code Camp are offering are definitely a step in the right direction.
And why do you think that is?
So I think what's unique about income share agreements is they aren't based on, credit history. They aren't based on traditional student background. They're really a unique new option for students to take advantage of and finance their education without going into debt. And it also makes the educational institutions offering them accountable for outcomes. It makes sure that they're developing talent that the workforce is going to employ, and that those students are going to have an opportunity to grow their careers right here in Wisconsin.
And why tech specifically? Why is it helpful for that sector?
So we've seen income share agreements become popular in tech, but they're also popular in other states. Purdue University obviously is offering them. But there are coding boot camps that are offering them kind of all around the country, and it's a unique opportunity for people that may have a four-year degree already or have some really unique work experience and want to learn something new and may not be able to go into debt to go explore their next career path.
And to take a chance like that.
Yes, and so I think being able to work your way through school after you go through school is a great opportunity for several students and is probably the right choice for them.
And talk to us about the state of tech here in Wisconsin.
So tech is a growing sector here in Wisconsin. We work very closely with companies that are looking to attract talent, whether they're small startups through Startup Milwaukee or large corporations like here locally in Milwaukee, Northwestern Mutual, Aurora Healthcare, that have really tried to place an emphasis on growing the tech sector here as their workforce needs change. And software is eating the world, and Wisconsin is certainly going to be impacted by the growing tech sector, and we need to make sure we're building a workforce that can kind of be relevant in the 21st century economy.
And I know you're passionate about startups. How does this income share agreement help entrepreneurs?
So I think it helps entrepreneurs by giving them more talent. I think that the more tech talent that is out there, we work with startups and really every size company, and their businesses are impacted when they can't find talent. It holds them back from growth, and we want them to grow right here in Wisconsin. We don't want them to leave the state to go try to find tech talent as some companies and startups have had to do here in Milwaukee in the past.
And that's something that CEOs tell us across the board, is that there just aren't enough people who are applying for these jobs, who are qualified for these jobs. Do you think that the income share agreement could be the wave of the future?
It certainly is one opportunity to grow the tech workforce here, and there are a lot of different things, I think, but it's certainly a powerful tool, and we're excited that it's now offered here by at least one institution here in Wisconsin, and hope to see several more on board. I think it'd be great to see, as you saw with Purdue, public and private institutions here in the state look at potentially offering their students income share agreements as well.
Matt Cordio, thank you.
Thank you.
Next, Governor Evers' big decision: sign, veto, or try to revise the spending plans Republicans sent him. We'll get the latest from Madison. Plus, why a group of influential UW backers is stepping up efforts to tell the public about the value of the university.
Up Front, brought to you by the American Transmission Company.